This is a stick-up. Nobody move. Don't you go get another wrinkle or take off that fine, tight dress. Don't go leaving your calluses in July. Stay my woman, the way my carrots are my carrots, for sharing, but I'm still proud. Yes, this is a stick-up. Here's the hard gun of my love. I'm not asking, I'm telling you, don't leave, don't age. Stay there, tight, stay there, standing in a few feet of water at the town beach. Tight bud on a stem. I want to place you in the vase of my hands. Hi, my name is Laura. I guess I'm here as Left Hand Man, that's my band. Thank you, Frey, for setting this up. I'm really excited to share some poetry and some songs. I gotta hunch over because the table's low. So I'm gonna go with the theme of love tonight. And the first half of the poems that I'm sharing are from a story that I'm writing, a story tape that I'm making called The Farmer and the Selkie. It's a love story between a farmer and a selkie. If you don't know what a selkie is, you're gonna find out. So here's the last scene of the story. Oh, well, before I read you the last scene, I'm gonna tell you that it's about one of those loves that's already ending as it happens. And you wanna say, don't go get another wrinkle or take off that fine tight dress. Be always just arrived at my back door with the blizzard behind you. One of those periods of months in a person's life which has to end eventually, right? But on certain nights of extreme pleasure or mortal fear, it feels like it might be the arena for the rest of your life, which is idiotically romantic or terribly bleak. And then she just dives back into the sea, and you keep on picking rocks from the field like before. Okay, here's the last scene of the farmer and the selkie. This is a stick-up, I say, walking into the post office, the legal gun of my love unconcealed on my hip. What do you want? Asks the surly pirate behind the counter through last night's eyeliner. I want overnight this skin, I say, pulling a dim shimmer from my backpack. He doesn't even look at it. Anything liquid, fragile, perishable, or hazardous? Yes, I think, holding this fragile, liquid, perishable, hazardous skin of hers. No, I say, it's a garment. Would you like tracking or confirmation? Yes, I think, tracking, confirmation. No, I say, just get it there quick. She walked out of a jagged November sea, carrying her skin in all its fabric iridescence over the crook of her arm like a towel. A selkie. I had heard of them. One time at the soup kitchen where I pick up food scraps, I'm chatting with Doug the cook. It's seaweed day, I say. I'm headed to the beach to fill up the truck. For what? Asks Doug. For mulch. Sounds like some kind of selkie trick to me, Doug says, and looks at me like I might grow whiskers. But I'm obviously a farmer, so of the land it won't leave my hands even when I wash this grit. One look at me, you can see I'm not beached. But we got to talking of selkies, seal people who can remove their skin and walk on shore and love and be loved on two legs. Have any of you ever seen one? I ask all the guys in the kitchen. No, this is Rhode Island. Most of the seals are just seals. A selkie, I have, says an old-timer in line. He's the kind of man who's been counted in January doorways so long he must be immortal. I married her too for as long as I could, but she found her skin eventually. Her skin? You have to catch them, selkies. Keep your eyes open when you're at the beach, because if you catch one, without her skin, I mean, if you can catch her skin, I mean, then she's yours. She walked out of a jagged November sea, carrying her skin in all its fabric iridescence over the crook of her arm like a towel. Beautiful, however that word means to you in a woman, but give her dark hair. There's nothing blonde underwater. She walked out of a jagged November sea, and the farmer was there collecting seaweed. The farmer thought, that is the blurred face from my dream. My deep diving self, she will be the thief of me. So the farmer, on learning about selkies, is a little perturbed about this whole captivity aspect of it. How much more careful a woman has to be with her skin. And I've been thinking a lot about kind of like the accidental capture of love. And it can happen with people you love, and it can also happen with things you love, like being a white person farming, or being a white person who does hip-hop music. Moments where you feel like you've been really loving something and you realize you've captured it. And so that's something I've been thinking about when I write about selkies. How can you love something without stealing it? Here's a song that the farmer sings to the selkie when they're hanging out on the beach. It's the first song I've ever written, so give me a break. Awesome. Okay. Oh, I forgot the background info. Those of you who aren't from Rhode Island, there's this awesome food called Johnny Cakes. They're cornmeal pancakes, but it's just cornmeal and salt and hot water, and then you fry them in like bacon fat or something. And I knew this Rhode Island farmer who said that, like, growing up on a farm in Rhode Island, he ate Johnny Cakes at every meal, kind of the way like other people eat bread or rice at every meal. That's all you have to know. The protagonist, the farmer, she's a Rhode Island farmer. That they're too gritty, you may think that they're too dense, you might think they're not pretty, or so corny it's intense, but you came ashore at sunset, and now it's getting late. You've never eaten human food, and you're in the smallest state. So come on home with me, and I'm gonna make us Johnny Cakes. Now I'm a don't have a lot of cash, but I've got a real nice skillet at home and a jar of bacon fat. Now if I was a banker, I'd ask you out on a date. And if I was a businessman, I would take all I can take. But I won't steal your skin, I just wanna make us Johnny cakes. Johnny cakes. Johnny cakes. Johnny cakes. Thank you. So it was a seduction, but the kind of seduction that afterwards both people feel kind of seduced. Between the two of them, someone wasn't wearing much to begin with. Someone showed no urge for conquest. Someone ignored the stare of the other seals. Someone looked pretty good against the sky. Someone suggested leaving the beach. Someone suggested they eat. Someone used human money with such grace. Someone had lain on the ocean floor before. Someone with her well-worked hands. Someone got the hang of a spoon. Someone ate the last Johnny cake. Someone stacked both the plates. Someone paused. Someone moved into that pause. Someone was never meant to wear clothes anyway. Someone was warm-blooded and smooth. Each was actually a mammal in her own way. Okay, so that's all the farmer and the selkie poems that you're going to hear tonight. I've got a lot more, but okay, so moving on to some other poetry. This one's so new that it's still in pen. I've never read it out loud before. But before I read it, I have to read an excerpt from a poem by, I forget how to say his name right, Salgado Maranhão, who is a Brazilian poet whose name I can't say that well. Here's his poetry. The mobile waters of desire raise us to the dense filings of the day, to the flight of submerged orbits. They gather urgent in the atrium where thirst repeats itself, desire's two-edged sword. And here's the part that inspired the next poem. It is always a threshold, the sun, that reinvents for us the ritual of mourning. Okay, here's my poem. It's for James. It's called The Ritual of Mourning. It is always a threshold, the sun, who reinvents for us the ritual of mourning. It takes place at Beavertail. What will they say, those 12 mouths of the cloud, opening now along the horizon? Surely it will be hot pink and never before said. Now blue proves itself a multitude up over us. The metal gnash of the sea eases to green. The 12 mouths pinker now. And could that possibly be heat against our January cheeks? You and I don't look at each other, pilgrims we are to the new word. But without a sound, or perhaps with a sound drowned on the sea, the cloud closes its 12 lips, and we squint into yet another winter sun. The sky, sky-colored. The ocean, its several blues. Are you disappointed by so plain a word as day? I know what I'd like to say, but instead I lunge into the January sea. I lodge my face in the salty basin of your neck. I lob you a donut, and that's as close as I'll get. I have one more poem and then a song and then a last poem. They're all pretty short. This is a poem I wrote one time when I was feeling so taxed that it felt like love was impossible, that I could not be a lover. And I really am obsessed with Prometheus. It's also a sestina, which means the last word of every line is the last word. There's 6 lines in the first stanza, and the last word of each of those lines has to be the last word of each of the lines in all the rest of the stanzas. So you might notice some words that happen 6 or a lot of times. It's called If Prometheus Has a Lover. If Prometheus has a lover, she comes to him at dawn, tenders the first peck to his still whole flesh, and pulls away red-lipped. As the sun hits the lip of the cliff where her lover hangs, her hair turns red. The bird songs of dawn draw shivers to his flesh in anticipation of a pecking. Woman, flee before you are pecked, he begs through chapped lips, you with your scarless flesh. He does not say he loves her, but every day gives her the gift of his dawn, that single moment before all goes red. His sing-song smile could be read as love, a bushel and a peck, but his is an armless dawn, a sunburnt lip. He wishes he was his own lover, could guard his own flesh. If Prometheus has a lover, she's not of flesh, but rather is some red thread sewn across his abdomen, a labor of love or a defense against the 1,000 pecks which will yet turn his torso into lips, each one dripping the colors of dawn. He who held fire like a fistful of dawn and taught his fellows a taste for cooked flesh, sits forever now at the lip of death and knows raw meat from the red of his open-pecked chest. He can never love her unless she learns how to pause dawn while it's still red, to halt the opening of flesh and repel the pecks of the ravenous birds whose lips eventually resemble a lover's. Thank you. Okay, this is a cover. It's by Lucinda Williams. And something that I fucking love about Lucinda Williams is that no matter what subtle variation of love that you're feeling, she has a song for it. This is a very unsubtle variation of love that she has a song for. It's a simple one. Ooh. I like dramatic organ sound. Can you relieve me, baby? Take your heart from your sleeve and put it on the line. Put it right here beside mine. I can't seem to read you most of the time. Don't you know that I need you? Will you ever be mine? Love is a gamble, I knew it. I'll do the next verse better. Knew it from the start. Whoever's holding the card the King of Hearts. Please deal me the King of Hearts. And if you came to my door and you asked me for more, I'd lay down beside you. I would never deny you. And if I had lots of silver, I'd give some to you. And if I had lots of gold, I'd make a rich man of you. Every time I see you, I wanna fall in love again. I would like to free you, but you won't even let me in. You won't even let me in. Can you relieve me, baby? Take your heart from your sleeve and put it on the line. Put it right here beside mine. I can't seem to read you most of the time. Don't you know that I need you? Will you ever be mine? Love is a gamble. I knew it from the start. Whoever's holding the card, please deal me the King of Hearts. Please deal me the King of Hearts. Thank you. I have one more poem for you. It's a love poem that I wrote to myself. Ghazal for You Are Young. The rough and muscle of your hands are strong enough to hurt a man. New jeans get ripped quick from kneeling. New knees click every time you stand. You enter, door flings off its hinge. Can you fix it? Of course you can. You are ravenous, your mouth wet, your jaw turns thick glass into sand, and you speak so fast. Don't breathe, end each sentence with an ampersand, so of course no road can hold you. No quiet dream of wedding bands, for green is the color of it, this upwardness, this loud demand. So of course, no one can hold you, save the real brown grip of the land. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to my poems and tolerating my keyboard. I'm from Providence, Rhode Island, and happy to be here. Thank you for organizing this, Ray.